I'm Kyle Gracey. I work at Aeon Investment Management and I'm a research analyst, which basically entails fundamental equity analysis, which is in essence trying to find mispricings in stocks and just sort of looking at expectations that the market has and trying to find deviations on that in order to capture some alpha for our institutional investors and retail investors. Sure. So I think it's the days flow into weeks, flow into months. It's all sort of the same thing. So my day sort of starts off with I'll chat with our CIO, Asif Mohammed, and we'll chat about the project I'm working on, a stock that I'm specifically looking at. We'll chat about relevant news flow that sort of impacts that stock and just the market in general. And then from there, I'll dive into looking at annual integrated reports using our proprietary model here. We have a IG versus SG, which is our proprietary model, which helps us identify mispricings and sort of helps us investigate the stock further. And then from there, I'll build out a three-statement model, which is your income statement, cash flow statement, and your third one, income statement, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. And then from there, I'll build out my model. If there's further investigation to be done and there's potentially a mispricing in there, we'll dive into it further, look at annual integrated reports, look at project pipelines, look at quality of management, look at all these sort of things that affect the company, and then ultimately build out a recommendation on a stock, and ultimately we'll buy it or not. So that's pretty much the basic day-to-day operations. It's a lot of fun and I enjoy what I do. In all honesty, there's not much I don't enjoy about the job. I don't even really view it as much of a job because I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing, to be honest. I'm really lucky in the fact that I have a profession that I do get excited to, like I wake up and I'm excited to come to work, which I don't think many people can say, so I'm pretty grateful about that. In terms of what I don't enjoy, we are a boutique asset management firm, so it's just the 12 of us, which is, I mean, super tiny considering we have almost 20 billion in assets under management, which is quite impressive. So it's a really small firm, so often you get pulled from different directions and you're often dealing with sort of, there could be IT issues, and you know, these are the things that a bigger firm doesn't really have to deal with. They'll have someone specialized in that, they'll have an IT department, whereas we're, like I said, we're a boutique asset management firm, there's just the 12 of us. So sometimes you do get pulled and you sort of are drawn away from the specific task you want to do, but that's also life, and that comes with the territory of working at a boutique asset management firm. To sort of pick up on that, that is also what I do love about it, because you can get exposure to so many different sectors. So for instance, Mbuso, he's our trader, he's in charge of fixed income. If I'm wanting to get into trading, I want to learn how to do it, I can just go sit with him while he's doing it, and I can get pretty much full exposure into how this all works. If I was at a bigger firm, I pretty much would have to be specifically in that sector or industry to get that exposure. So that's really nice for me, and the people is definitely my favorite thing about Aeon. There really are, I mean, our CIO, Asif, he's been in the game for 40 years, he's incredibly qualified, and then our two portfolio managers as well, Zaid Paruk and Jay Vamaka. I mean, these are esteemed industry professionals, and they know a lot, and what I really love is they're always willing to help you. It is a collegiate environment where growth is really, it's at the forefront of everything we do. Also, personal development is again, it's the sort of the driving culture here at Aeon. So continuous self-improvement is sort of emphasized, which I think for me is fantastic, because we always want to get better and we always want to become the best analyst and person we can be, and I do think Aeon offers that. So that really aligns with what I'd want out of life and work. So that's my favorite thing. So I love the story of a stock. I love how the news flow and sort of as the news breaks, how it will affect the whole market in general and specific stocks within that. And I think that's, I mean, part of doing fundamental research is just following news flow. So I can be on News 24 or Twitter and seeing what's happening at the very moment and how that correlates into how the share price will move. For me, that's a lot of fun. And if you think I'm sitting on Twitter for an hour or I'm reading the newspaper for an hour, that doesn't really even sound like work. I mean, is that even work? But still, it factors into what we do here, which I think is so amazing. So for me, that's a lot of fun, reading the news and just being exposed to different sort of working worlds, different environments. It really does give you sort of a well-rounded picture of how the world actually works and what's going on within the world. So for me, that's a lot of fun, and it's something I want to keep growing at and just keep getting better and better. The big sort of topic now is interest rates are going up, how that affects everyone. I mean, people are struggling to buy a basic basket of goods. and it's seriously having a real impact. Inflation's through the roof. So we haven't seen much economic growth in our country for a while. I mean, our growth rate's 3-4%, nothing really to boast about. So those are the sort of things that you do worry about, and it does actually make you wonder, do I want to work in South Africa? Do I potentially want to go abroad? But I do still think in South Africa, we have something so unique here that I would like to personally stay in South Africa for an extended period. I mean, besides the working world, the natural beauty that we have, just the standard of living. I mean, I was lucky enough to travel to Europe for a few months, and everything works beautifully there. You can catch a train at 5 in the morning, and if it's 30 seconds late, I mean, the world goes crazy if it's 30 seconds late. Where here, just to get a road without a pothole is sometimes a bit of a win for the day. But we really do have so much going for us here, and I think the people are so positive here, which ultimately would keep me in South Africa, and it's why I want to be here for probably the rest of my life. So I actually started at the University of Cape Town studying business science marketing. And then in my second year, I sort of realized I don't think that was really where my interests were quite aligned. I really enjoyed the maths, and I enjoyed micro and macroeconomics. So I thought finance would be such a great combination of the two to sort of go into. So ultimately I did switch to finance in my second year with absolutely no regrets. I actually come from a family of 3 engineers, so you can kind of call me the black sheep of the family that didn't study engineering, but no regrets thus far. So I wouldn't say I always knew that I wanted to be involved in finance and sort of research analysis. I mean, there's so many different layers of finance and different things you can do within it. But ultimately, fundamental research analysis, I do think, is something I'll stay involved in forever. I mean, at one stage I was working for an American M&A firm, and it's not quite the same. Like you're really subject to like the demands of your clients all the time, whereas this is, you focus on sort of your own goal, and doing that, it helps all your investors, which I think is so perfect, because you can really focus on yourself, and by just doing the hard work and really focusing on what you need to do, it helps other people, which I think is probably the best part of my job. Sure, so if you want to get involved in finance, I think it's kind of given now that you have to get your CFA qualification. So in my honours year, I got my first level done, which was pretty grueling with, university work, extra sort of studying, and then I had a full-time job on the side. And then I wrote my second level CFA 2 last week Tuesday, which was, hopefully, touch wood, I get through that. So that'll be an exciting one to come through. And then now I'm busy focusing on getting my RE exams done. So it's one of those industries where you got to keep improving yourself, because it's such a ever-changing, dynamic sort of role and environment that if you don't keep sort of skill improving and uplifting yourself, you will get left behind. So it is a ever-changing and dynamic world, which is fun. That's what keeps it exciting. Well, in research analysis alone, 2 months, because I've been here for 2 months. I did 7 months, like I said, at an M&A firm, but it was small cap, like $10 to $50 million transaction size. So they also didn't do like IPOs, the initial public offerings. They didn't do much sell-side modeling. So it wasn't really aligned with what I wanted, because those are the sort of skills that I would have liked to learn. So in research analysis, I'm 2 months in. But I mean, I've been trading for my personal accounts and for like the last 2-3 years. Nothing too crazy, and just with a bit of spare money on the side that I'm in essence willing to lose. But it's a lot of fun, and I think if you do sort of want to get involved in asset management, that's probably the best way to do it. I mean, easy equities, you can do a demo account, so it's for free, and you can get exposed just to how everything works, and you can follow the news flow and see how it works, which is a lot of fun, and that's probably the best way to sort of gateway yourself into asset management. Sure. So it's really a great question, because I think maybe the misconception about finance is it's interconnected and it's all interrelated. So what I did at the university, I mean, probably what I learned in 4 years at university, maybe I use 3% of that in my sort of day-to-day work. But it really is more the sort of smaller things, the softer things that anyone's exposed to, and anyone has access to. For instance, trading on your easy equities, it's for free if you want to do a demo account, and if you want to open up your personal account, I think the smallest transaction size is like 10 Rand. So anyone can get into it, like if you have a spare 10 Rand and you want to put it in there, put it in the stock you like, or even just put it in the index, because you're pretty much guaranteed to grow at like 10-15% a year. And I think maybe finance can have that poor sort of image of sort of money hungry, it's like, oh, it's an elite group, but it's really not like that at all. It's like it's actually quite a noble job in essence. I mean, you're ensuring that people are protected in their future, which I think often can get overlooked, which is ultimately why I got into it. If I wasn't going to be in finance, I would have probably been a teacher, just because it's fun to help people and it's fun to be a good person. So that sort of thing is you see it every day, and it is a lot of fun, but it also has a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure, because this is people's livelihoods, and if you're not going to give 100% of yourself to them, the sort of stock could go the wrong way, or you could make a ill-informed decision, and you sort of have an impact and direct impact on people's lives. So you need to make sure that you always at your best to help other people, which it's rewarding. So I mean, there's so many. Just being in a lecture theatre and having the confidence when you don't know what's going on to ask a question, because this ultimately leads into the working environment. If you learn those dirty habits at university, you can't expect yourself to come into a working environment and have the confidence to ask your boss, who has a million things on his plate, listen, I'm struggling here, can you give me some help? Because ultimately this is going to help you. Like, let's help each other, help me, help you, and that is how it works. And if you set the bad habits at university, you're too scared to ask a question, or you don't have the confidence to join up for that extracurricular activity, or you just don't really back yourself, you're probably not going to back yourself in the working environment, which is to your demise. So I think the best thing you can ever do in university is put yourself out there as much as possible, make as many friends as possible, talk to as many people as possible, because ultimately that will lead to your success, and it will give you the confidence when put in a sort of new environment to trust yourself and have fun with it. So pretty much like we're doing now. So that is what I sort of like about myself, and I wish sort of everyone would just have that confidence in themselves to go out and do it, because even if you fail, there's really, you've lost nothing. So that's, again, I've danced around your question, but those are the soft skills that you need. Just confidence in yourself, and everything should be fine. Probably not. So when I was just out of high school, I mean, like I was saying earlier, what 18-year-old really knows what they want to do with their life? Most 32-year-olds don't know. So I was always determined to be the South African Springbok rugby team coach. I used to coach rugby in high school. I loved playing in high school, and it was just such a fun hobby for me. After I actually then started coaching, I realized this is not what I want to do all day. I don't want to be on my feet all day and sort of running around and showing, like, I wouldn't mind just being at a desk doing my thing. And then probably what got me into it was my uncle's in finance as well. And we had a couple of conversations, and he was sort of told me like what his general day looks like, the stuff he thinks about. And I was like, that sounds like something I wouldn't mind doing. That sounds like quite a bit of fun. And then research a bit about it myself. Like I said, open up your personal trading accounts. And then one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you're entrenched in it. And if you enjoy what you're doing, you spend a lot of your time just involved in it, because it's not work. It's more fun. So one thing leads to another, and then you find yourself working. And I love working in a good way. Like, I like seeing myself improve. So in any environment where I feel like I'm constantly improving, I'm very happy. And Aeon definitely pushes sort of self-improvement and continuous self-improvement, which I think is why there's such a good fit. So really enjoy that. It's just absorbing and learning as much from my colleagues as much as possible, because they've been through it all, they've seen it all, they've done it all, where I'm just starting off. Like, for me, every day I feel like I'm learning 20 new things, and until it gets to the stage where I feel like I've got a really good understanding of what my role entails. I mean, I do obviously have an understanding of it, but until I'm executing it at like 100%, and I'm really like I'm at the top of my game, then I'll look at the next level. Obviously, I have a plan of where I see myself in like a 10-year period. I would love to open up sort of my own fund one day. I mean, that would be amazing. But for now, it's just staying grounded, staying humble, because you can definitely in this industry build yourself up to something that you are not. So it's got to stay humble and just learning from as many different people as possible. I think obviously this office is fantastic and I can draw from so many people, but opening yourself up to other sort of areas of information, reading books, just getting as much information as possible and trying to let your brain put that all together is the most important. And for the next 2 years, I think that's where I see myself and what I see myself doing. And then from there, any opportunity that comes my way, I'm always open to it. If it's what's best for me, I'm happy to do it. But getting CFA done is a priority, getting my REs done is a priority, and just putting out the best work I can, making myself proud. So that's what I want to do, and that's what I look forward to doing. Sure. So to start off, I think the first thing you need to actually really ask yourself, is this what I want to do? Because you really don't want to sort of let 5 years slip by. You're working as hard as you can, you're always feeling like you're playing catch up, and then you're 27, 28, and you're like, is this really where I saw my life going? And is this really what makes me happy? Because if you're not doing what you want to do, every day is going to feel like a bit of pain. So make sure you're doing what you love. And like I said, I think I'm very lucky to have found something that I do enjoy. And it's very rare. I know most people are fighting through little personal battles every day that are super tough. So I'm happy I found my own thing. And then on your second question, if you want to excel in your field, you need to do the things that make you excel. You need to put in the habits that will let you excel. You need to make sure that you're doing everything you can to better yourself, because everyone wants to be the best. But when it's time to put in some action, obviously you need to put it in. And making sure that you're doing the right things, signing up for your board exams, talking to as many different people that have industry experience is the most important thing. I mean, we're so lucky every time we go to an in-person results presentation or just any sort of in-person meeting, you get to meet someone new, sort of hear their story, listen to what they say. I mean, one of my problems is I speak more than I listen sometimes, just because I love talking and I love meeting new people, and I need to literally pinch myself, keep quiet. This guy has so much to teach you. Don't be arrogant, relax, just learn as much from him as possible. And if you have that attitude and you remind yourself, because often we have that attitude but we don't follow through, if you remind yourself of that, I think you will be rewarded, and good things tend to happen to good people. So if you just do your best in most things, you should get rewarded, and make sure you're doing what you love. So those would be my only 2 words of advice, because like I said, I'm just starting. I haven't made it, I haven't done much, I still have so much to prove. So maybe in 10 years, once I've done a few cool things, we'll chat again, hopefully. And then you never know where life takes you. So just be open to anything. And if you're not doing what you love, do what you love. There's no point in fighting through it. There's no point in listening to anyone else besides yourself. Obviously, get advice from different people that have been through what you've been through, but do what you love and everything should work out pretty well.